So here I am reviewing Justice League, a film that everyone on the internet agrees on. Yeah, that's sarcasm. It seems the last time that I was in a position such as this, it was the first DC Extended Universe film, Man of Steel, which I quite liked, and it seems about half the people who saw it agree, and the other half violently hate it. What's interesting is that each time I watched Man of Steel, it grew on me more and more, and I wound up really loving it. Well, I only just liked it the first time. But for those who just disliked it, rewatching them just made them hate it more. I guess it really is one of those kinds of films. Anyway, Justice League is very different from the previous films in the franchise, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman. Not only in that it's a team-up film, but its tone. And each of these films does have its own tone. Man of Steel was introspective, Dawn of Justice was ultra serious, Wonder Woman was reverential, Suicide Squad couldn't decide what it was, but Justice League has a tone that I can best describe as the return of hope, and if that's not a spoiler warning, I don't know what is. The plot begins with Batman and Wonder Woman attempting to contact other heroes to join together, mostly because Batman believes that there is an invasion coming, mostly due to the fact that Lex Luthor pretty much told him that. Wonder Woman's involvement becomes more pronounced when the main villain, Steppenwolf, arrives on Earth and raids Themyscira, and her mother, Hippolyta, tells the rest of the world that Gondor calls for aid. I'm making a joke about the signal fire, but the comparison to Lord of the Rings is very apt. There was a point in this film where Wonder Woman tells the story of how Steppenwolf first came to Earth thousands of years ago and was beaten back by the unified armies of Earth, an alliance between Amazons, Atlanteans, the tribes of men, and the Green Lanterns. The film definitely builds up Steppenwolf to be a Tolkien-esque villain, and that's sort of a problem, because Tolkien never gave his villains a lot of characterization or thought. They were just pure evil beings who wanted to do harm, and that's essentially what Steppenwolf is. If you're familiar with the comics version of Steppenwolf, you know that he's got a bit more depth to him, but the movie hints at this at times, but mostly he's just a powerful, tall CGI man for the League to fight. The plot mostly revolves around mother boxes, 3 of which are hidden away on Earth. One was held by the Amazons, one by the Atlanteans, and another by men. If Sauron was the Lord of the Rings, Steppenwolf is the Lord of the Boxes. He comes to reclaim them and quickly gets 2 of them while the Justice League forms together and decides whether or not to just try to prevent Steppenwolf from getting the last box, or attempt to use it to resurrect Superman. From there, it goes pretty much how you would expect, with only minor surprises here and there, but mostly it's by the numbers. Justice League also suffers from some truly bad special effects, which is shocking. The previous films in this franchise, even the lowly Suicide Squad, looked quite good, but that's not to say that Justice League is bad, because it isn't what you do, it's how you do it. And while it stumbles in the visual department, it is quite an enjoyable film nonetheless. The action scenes are very good, the framing of each character is done in a way that they could be comic book panels, the entire thing is basically a live-action cartoon, and I'm not even mad about it. I was worried that with only a few characters previously getting any sort of development, that characters like Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg would get none, but surprisingly I was mostly wrong on that. While Aquaman doesn't get a whole lot of development, Cyborg surprisingly has the biggest character arc in the movie. Flash was, well, in the beginning I was very apprehensive about Ezra Miller playing him, but after I saw his performance in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I thought, yeah, he could pull it off, and he mostly does, though after a while his wide-eyed wonder shtick gets a little thin. This is by no means a great film, but it is fun and enjoyable. It doesn't have any pretense of being a grand, serious film like Batman v Superman was, or at least the Blu-ray version of that was. It's just a big, fun, slapdash movie, cinematic junk food for sure, delicious, but not super nutritious. If I was to look at the DCEU so far and rank the films, I would have Man of Steel at the front, followed very closely by Wonder Woman, then the Blu-ray cut of Batman v Superman, and then very, very distantly after that, the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman, and then even further distantly after that would be Suicide Squad. Justice League would rank somewhere between the 2 versions of Batman v Superman. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The DCEU is probably going to always be the also-ran to the MCU, which is fine, but at the very least, they are learning from their past mistakes.